Good evening and welcome to tonight's Board of Commissioners meeting. Tonight we are pleased to have our pastor with us today, and I'm looking for your name, Pastor, and I just had it and then it left. So if you don't mind coming up and introducing yourself, I look for it here. And then the commissioners, we will jointly lead the pledge this evening. Thank you.
Pastor Clifford McGrady, let us pray. Father, now in Jesus' name, and as always, we come now praying for your wisdom and your knowledge. We pray now, God, for these elected and appointed officials. We pray, God, that you lead and guide us tonight, Father. We say thank you for being a presence in the room and a guide in the house. In Jesus' name I pray, with faith believing, amen.
Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and that was Pastor Clifford McGrady of New Unity Christian Fellowship Church. We appreciate you being with us this evening. Our meeting is now officially called to order. And during this meeting, we have 4 presentations. The first one will be brought by Commissioner Burrell is to present a proclamation to Caitlin Johnston. We understand that we have some persons in the overflow room who could not be here, who are part of the, okay, they're entering, so yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're here tonight to present a proclamation to declare Lissencephaly September 8th as Lissencephaly Awareness Day. And we have Caitlin Johnson and her family, her beautiful family here, to tell us a little bit more about it. And I'm going to present the proclamation. Thank you. Hey there. Liam, are you Liam?
Yes, it is.
Hi. Your sister's so pretty. Okay. Lissencephaly is a rare gene-linked brain malformation which causes the brain to have less or no ridges and folds, making its surface appear smooth. Most people with the condition will likely be cognitively or physically impaired, though each individual's progress will vary significantly. And whereas it is estimated that around 1 in 100,000 individuals are born with this condition, people living with it may also suffer from hypertonia, epilepsy, swallowing difficulties, as well as developmental delays. And whereas addressing a patient's complex medical needs early in life is imperative to helping families successfully care for their children at home. There is no cure for Lissencephaly, but children can show progress in their development over time. Supportive care may be needed to help with comfort, feeding, and nursing needs. And whereas the Lissencephaly Foundation, Inc. is a nonprofit charitable organization that helps to support these impacted through empowering families and educating communities. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim September 8th as Lissencephaly Awareness Day and encourage the public to support these families by understanding the needs they have and learning about the condition that shapes their lives. This is the 24th day of August, 2021. You want to hold this?
That's for you.
And do y'all want to say a few words?
Just real quickly, I just wanted to say thank you so much for doing this. This means a lot to not just our family, but all the families worldwide that are currently battling Lissencephaly, as well as pachygyria. It's something that's not really spoken about or heard of, so if everyone can go home, Google it, learn more about it. Our families really need support, so it would be great if people could learn more about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to say anything? Oh, did you? How beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Liam.
You say you're welcome?
Darling. You can't say you're welcome. Okay, can we get a picture?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, our next presentation tonight will be brought by Commissioner Sheffield to present a proclamation to Lucinda Garrett for 30 years of service at the Cobb Community Services Board.
Things don't work.
Hello, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Whereas the Cobb Community Services Board provides effective and innovative care for adults and children who face behavioral health challenges and to those with intellectual and developmental disabilities regardless of their insurance status. And whereas Lucinda Garrett started her employment with us on August 1st, 1991 in behavioral health when the agency was still part of the County Board of Health. She worked in the emergency services section. During that time, she helped start the intensive treatment residential program and adaptive group homes. She then transferred to work with semi-independent living for 2 years. And whereas for the next 26 years, she worked with the Mothers Making a Change program, she has worked in multiple capacities, including her position as the coordinator for the food service program, liaison for the Department of Family and Children Services, Cobb County Family Dependency Treatment Court, Georgia Department of Community Affairs, hospitals, and other community organizations. And whereas the CCSB's mission is to empower all individuals living with behavioral health challenges and intellectual and developmental disabilities to achieve and maintain their desired quality of life. None of this can be achieved without the commitment and dedication of employees such as Lucinda. Her knowledge, skills, and excellence in helping those in need will truly be missed. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby thank you and recognize Lucinda Garrett for 30 years of service to the community, presented this 24th day of August 2021.
Thank you. It's an honor to receive this. It has been a blessing for me to be able to work for an organization that does so much great work in the community. Our employees are committed and go over and above beyond the call of duty to assure that our clients get quality care. And I'm really proud to be a part of the Cobb Douglas Community Services Board.
Commissioner Sheffield will also provide the next presentation to Roderick Booth for an extraordinary act of heroism.
Hello, Mr. Booth, how are you? I'm doing well. The Cobb County Board of Commissioners salutes Mableton resident D. Roderick Booth. While swimming in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of St. Augustine Beach in Florida, he rescued a woman who was carried away by a rip current. Booth swam 150 feet through rough waters to rescue the unconscious woman and towed her back to the beach where she received CPR and was revived. We applaud your extraordinary act of heroism. this 24th day of August 2021.
Actually, I wasn't prepared to make a speech, but I wasn't looking for heroism that day or recognition. I just did what I instinctively have always in me to do, and I'm glad I was actually there in position because she's going to be making a full recovery.
Amen.
Fantastic, thank you.
Last but not least, I'd like to have members of our senior division here in Cobb come join me up front for our final proclamation. Hey. Good evening. Hi, how are you? Hi. I'm pleased to be here to recognize National Senior Citizens Day. Whereas National Senior Citizens Day recognizes seniors who have spent their lives contributing to society and having impacted everyone's lives for the better. Improved health care has changed demographics and increased productivity of older citizens, allowing them to be more active than ever before. With more opportunities available as well, many seniors now begin second careers and are an example for younger generations. The country's foundation and stable sectors are the result of the hard work of our senior citizens, and they deserve all of our gratitude. And whereas Senior Citizens Day was originally recognized on August 14th, 1935, the day President Franklin Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act. In 1988, then President Ronald Reagan officially changed the observant day to August 21st to recognize those seniors who made positive contributions in their communities, as well as to bring awareness of social health and economic issues affecting that population. And whereas according to the United States Census Bureau, in 2015, there were 47.8 million people aged 65 or older, and by 2060, nearly 1 in 4 U.S. residents will be a member of this age group. For the first time in history, older adults are projected to outnumber children by 2034. And whereas the Senior Citizen Council of Cobb was founded in 1973 as an independent, all-volunteer, nonprofit organization to promote the general welfare of Cobb seniors and advocate for better public policy for those 55 and older. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby recognize August 21st as National Senior Citizens Day in Cobb County. We encourage all to recognize and appreciate the contributions of our seniors, spend time with the seniors that you know, and grow from their wisdom. Presented this the 24th day of August 2021.
Thank you, Chairwoman Cupid, and to the board. We want to, on behalf of the Senior Citizens Council, Senior Citizen Services for Cobb County, our agency director, our deputy director, we want to say thank you. And the most important thing about remembering an older adult is to remember them. And so this is a great recognition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With this recognition, I'd like to announce next year, Cobb Senior Services will celebrate their 50th anniversary, May 2022. Please look for it. She's right. Thank you. Wonderful. Look forward to more information and how you can join us for this wonderful celebration. Thank you for all your contributions.
And thank you for all you do in serving our seniors here in the county. You're welcome. We'll take a photo. Having a mask malfunction. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, next up on our agenda, we will have a public hearing to conduct a hearing prior to expending $100,000 for professional services to prepare a comprehensive strategic plan for Cobb County government.
Good evening, Chairwoman,
Good
Commissioners, County Manager. Georgia Code requires that the Board of Commissioners conduct a public hearing prior to expending $100,000 or more with an independent consulting firm to conduct a study. The county anticipates awarding a contract for the preparation of a comprehensive strategic plan that will exceed $100,000. Therefore, we request that the board do conduct a public hearing tonight.
Thank you. Those who are willing to address the board regarding this specific public hearing item to prepare a comprehensive strategic plan, or excuse me, to have a hearing prior to preparation of a comprehensive strategic plan, you are welcome to speak for 3 minutes max. And we will go ahead and officially start our public hearing. As in times past, you can just feel free to approach the mic or line up here in the middle. Is anyone here for this particular item for the strategic plan? Yes, sir. And when you come to the microphone, if you can let us know your name and full, and then you can
John
proceed to your
McLean.
comments. Thank you, John.
Live out in West Cobb. So it's a comprehensive plan to do what?
This is for professional services to prepare a comprehensive strategic plan for the county.
For zoning?
No, sir. Oh, in fact, I'm glad that you mentioned that. We will have an effort to update our comprehensive plan. This is a strategic plan to articulate the goals and strategic direction of the county overall. Beyond
Strategic
zoning.
direction, which could include
It could
countless
include-
things, right?
Yes, sir.
And we'll have a chance to speak to that at some point in the future?
Yeah, I'm here seeing heads nod. Typically, I don't respond as we receive comments, but yes, the public will have opportunity to weigh in.
Okay, let's all have it asked.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here to address the Board of Commissioners regarding this public hearing for professional services to prepare a comprehensive strategic plan for Cobb County? All right, seeing no more speakers, this public hearing is closed.
Thank you, Chairwoman.
Thank you, Jimmy. Next up, we will have public comment. And again, for those who are new here, when you speak towards public comment, you will wait for your name to be called, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak. And if you can let us know your name, please, when you get to the microphone. Thank you.
Board, we have 12 speakers that have signed up this evening. The first 6 speakers, the first speaker is Ms. Jan Barton.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Jan Barton, and I'm here to talk to you about COVID. But instead of listening to me, as you did last time, I have experts on a video I hope works from my phone. It was not a downloadable video. Thank you, Brad.
Who have planned this? It's all planned. Now, why they planned this, I don't know. And I don't even think I want to know.
This system is being put in place using lies, and it's being put in place using lies for some purpose, and I believe that purpose is complete totalitarian control. And I think the purpose of that is going to be mass depopulation.
One of our problems here is the assumption that this is like every other vaccine we've ever seen, and it's not. It's the greatest experiment that has ever been performed.
regulators are absolutely not getting this injection. We don't trust the data. The fox guarded the hen house.
Oops, sorry, guys, I did that. That bottom, okay, it just won't go away. Sorry about that, you guys. Let me start it again.
Who have planned this. It's all planned. Now, why they planned this?
We're polarized right now. We're polarized. And threaten investigation and discipline for any physicians who express any of the negative aspects of any of these interventions, no matter what the evidence says.
You're not the first doctor I've heard from who maybe got unusual visits from the state or, basically got a lot of pushback.
You have to realize the number of doctors and scientists who are saying no to all this outnumbers those who say yes.
And if this is the mountain, if this is the hill where I get nailed on, I will get nailed on it. I don't care. You can report me to the board, you can kill me, you can do whatever, but I'm not going to let Americans die.
75 years ago, Hermann Goering testified at the Nuremberg trials, and he was asked, how did you make the German people go along with all this? And he said, it's an easy thing. The only thing a government needs to make people into slaves is fear. You can do this in a Nazi regime. You can do it in a socialist regime. You can do it in a communist regime. You can do it in a monarchy and a democracy.
We, the Germans, are asking this question, how it happens in the 1930s. And a lot of people are now getting a sense how it happened.
We're held hostage to more and more mutations that can be used to manipulate us over and over again and take away our freedoms.
We've used these tactics in other countries to manipulate, divide and conquer. Now we're watching our own government, our own military use them against us. Men of our unit and our service believe that we're pointing our weapons in the wrong direction. This time now the tyranny is against us and our people, and we can't see it because it's on our home soil where it's never been before.
We need to start looking at ourselves as officers and thinking, is what I'm doing right? You don't get to just say, I'm following orders. And if that costs you your job, so be it. At least you'll be able to look at yourself in the mirror at night.
They start enforcing the communist state through the vaccine passport. Please, Australia, do not move to any goalpost. The second you do, they start to build the fascist state.
In Australia, people have had it too good for too long, and they see these communist countries, and they think, there's no way that could happen here.
We are the most locked down country in the world.
There's over 50,000 people in here!
Massive protest. The media said it was going to be 3,500 people.
What we saw today were 3,500 very selfish bullheads.
The mainstream media is never, ever, ever going to be on our side because they are owned and controlled by the very...
So these experts from around the world are telling the truth, but we are not hearing the truth from our own health department. And this is a very frightening thing that we're witnessing now, loss of freedoms, and I want you to think about that, please. Get the truth out, stop the fear-mongering, please. Thank you.
Leroy Emkin.
Leroy Empkin, I live in Cobb County. I'd like to make first a compliment the senior services group that was honored here today. The only problem I have is that I don't think of myself as a senior citizen. I'm a more experienced citizen. We are as active and healthy and energetic and involved as everybody. Just because we're over 55 years old, we're referred to as senior? No, we are just more experienced. Regarding masks, they're totally useless. Let me read something. "2,300 years ago, long before Islam, Arabs discovered that forcing people to cover their nose and mouths broke their will and individuality and depersonalized them. It made them submissive. That's why they later imposed on every woman the mandatory use of a fabric over her face Then Islam turned it into the woman's symbol of submission to Allah, the man owner of the harem and the king. Modern psychology explains, without a face, we don't exist as independent beings. I'm looking out at this room, and I don't see those of you who are wearing masks as independent beings. I see you as submissive beings. Face coverings, masks, are ancient tools used to break people down physiologically. This is the beginning of deleting individuality. He who does not know his history is certainly condemned to repeat it. And we are repeating that in this country, in this state, and this county. Take the masks off. We are individuals. There is a statement by Governor Kemp, and I was corrected recently by, I won't name who, one of the officers here. I'll read this first. Governor Brian Kemp issued an executive order Thursday prohibiting local governments in Georgia, that was last Thursday, prohibiting local governments in Georgia from imposing mask mandates. And then when I was corrected, I read further down the article, and it was clear that he was referring primarily to businesses. He is refusing to allow businesses to require mask mandates or vaccine mandates. Thank goodness in the state. I think the same thing should be true in local governments, such as a meeting like this. I have an article here, an advertisement for masks. You can see many of these articles. And if you look at the details, you will read the following. And as a more experienced person, I need a light to read this better. Okay. This is a statement about, from the manufacturer of the masks you all are wearing, and that I refuse to wear, except if I'm required to at a place like this. This item is not for medical use and is not a medical device. It is not intended to be personal protective equipment and should not be used by healthcare professionals or used in a healthcare clinical environment or setting. Here's the most important sentence for us. This mask, it is not intended to prevent or protect from any form of illness or disease, not intended for use by children. Now, let me repeat this. From the manufacturer of the mask, this mask is not intended to prevent or protect from any form of illness or disease, not intended for use by children. Then why are we wearing these masks? Why are you wearing this mask if it's not intended to protect from any illness or disease,
Mr. Impton,
not intended to protect from spreading
your
that
5
disease?
minutes is up.
I ask you that question. Why are we wearing a mask?
Debbie Fisher.
Good evening. My name is Debbie Fisher. I'm from East Cobb. And first, I want to thank you for the opportunity to address this board at the beginning of a meeting. I was going to speak almost solely about our freedom of speech and the threat to take it away, but there was a decision made today by the President of the United States that in my wildest dream, I never thought we would experience in these great states of the United States of America, and that is to withdraw from Afghanistan 1 week from tonight, leaving Americans, our allies, and our freedom behind. And so instead of talking about your policy changes, I'm going to talk about praying for our leadership, praying for decisions made at your level, and praying at the national, state, and local level for all of you to make decisions that, if in the future it were imposed upon you, that you would be okay with it. Decisions are being made for personal reasons. To limit our time to speak in these meetings is not okay. It absolutely is not okay. It doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, independent, non-political. Taking away our freedom of speech, our most precious right, is never okay. It's not okay to make a compromise. Any one of you who think you can make a compromise to get a vote on something you want in lieu of our right to speak is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And I ask that you all completely withdraw your concept of limiting our ability to speak. Because I truly believe I represent we the people. I don't represent a conservative, a Republican, a Democrat. I represent our freedom, our constitutional right to speak. And again, I ask everyone in this room to say prayers when you go home tonight for the Americans who are going to be left by a progressive leader who made one very bad decision today. And with that, thank you.
John McLean.
John McLean from West Cobb, out near Lost Mountain. So much is happening with this commission that I can't keep up with it. I mean, I get ready to approach one problem and there's 7 more pop up between meetings. It's just mind-boggling. Some of you on this board, I realize probably not all of you, have tried to limit our free speech. Maybe it won't pass, but just suggesting that public comments be limited is infuriating to me. We are your supervisors. We pay your salary. You wouldn't have a budget without the taxpayers. You should be allowing more time, not less. I was told I had to get here before 5 o'clock just to get a chance to speak. That's how many people want to speak. You need to hear them. So zoning. Some of you, I know they're not all, some of you have voted for this development, this rezoning of this development in APZ around Dobbins. But you finally woken up and realized that you've endangered your relationship with the Chamber, Dobbins, Georgia Tech Research Institute, and everybody else. So you're working on a land swap. That's good. Maybe if it works out, that's fine. I hope Dobbins doesn't leave. But I just want to make sure you know that if 3 of you are in discussion together, then that's against the law unless it's an open meeting. So if you're trying to make an agreement, just make sure you do it in the right way and allow the public to be involved. So when you constantly, this thing that's coming up about a comprehensive Cobb County development, whatever that meant, you constantly change zoning to higher density and affordable housing. You make no allowance for infrastructure, like sewer, water. What about roads and bridges? It's gridlock. I can't tell somebody what time I'm going to meet them. There's no way to tell them when, because there's not enough roads or bridges. But you keep piling people in here. We're in gridlock. There should be a moratorium on any high density development until you address the infrastructure. Spending. I've heard all kinds of rumors that you're going to add a whole lot of new positions. When you add a new position, it becomes permanent. It becomes a new part of the budget. We need to talk about that. And masks. Come on now, we've been through this for a year and a half. We've all heard the misinformation and the information. People are adults, they're educated. I know if I should wear a mask. If you're scared, wear a mask. If you're not scared, like I'm not going to wear a mask unless I'm made to. It's getting ridiculous. Anyway, thank you.
Laverna Cleveland.
Greetings. My name is Melverna Cleveland. I live here in Cobb County. I am a resident here for 8 years. When I moved here from New York, I moved to Marietta, which I love it here. Recently, I just got a renewal for my rental. Last year, before COVID, it was $10 increase. It's now $300. It's a $300 increase. I work for a major insurance company, which I won't name right now, but I am also a survivor of domestic violence. There are women that are in situations and can't leave because their abusers are there with them. I make good money. Some of the women don't. And as a survivor, you guys have nothing where a woman can go and flee from her abuser. My case, I got away because from New York, we have resources where you can leave your house and you're protected. I have searched around as a survivor and there's nothing available. I have a son. When I moved here, running from my situation, I couldn't go with my son couldn't go with me. I wasn't leaving my child because he was a male child and he couldn't stay in the same place with me. What do you do when you have a male child that's 13, 14, 15, or 16, and they tell you that you must they have to go to a men's shelter? As a minister, as a mother, and as a woman, I think that this is ridiculous, that there's absolutely nothing. I also have started my own foundation, but I need resources and there's nothing here. You guys are not giving us the money that we need to help with the rent. The rent is going up and there's more people that are constantly being evicted. I walked out of my apartment complex and all I see is furniture, children's furniture. Thank God my children are adults, but I would not know what to do in a situation. There has to be a common ground because as a woman, and I see quite a few of you here, you're not facing that. But what about the women that are in the home with the abuser that's making the money and can't go because there's no resources? My name is Melverna Cleveland, and I yield the mic.
Dre Adelson.
Good evening. My name is Dre Anderson, and I'm here to speak on the piggyback off of Ms. Cleveland. I think we all have been affected by COVID in one form or fashion. I spent 25 years as working for the City of Atlanta Housing Authority as a property manager and a social worker. At that point in time, I moved to Cobb County. And what I will say about Cobb County is in the forefront of assisting with rental assistance, and I commend Cobb County because no one wants to see your neighbor or your neighbor's neighbor out on the streets. And just like Ms. Cleveland stated, if your rent goes from $10 to $350 on an increase, that's a big step for people that are single, because if you don't have it, then you're going to be put out on the streets. So I would like to see more funds put available for Cobb County to continue assisting with the rental assistance, because if not, Cobb County is not just going to be in trouble. There are other counties going to be in trouble, because you don't want to see a bunch of people thrown out on the streets and homeless when there's resources that we can all put together to ensure that that does not happen. Because the cause and the effect has to be justified in the end, which the pandemic was the cause. We all can ensure that the effect is not for everyone to be put out homeless and have nowhere to stay, because it's really heartbreaking when, like she said, you go outside your unit and you have children outside because they couldn't afford the rent. Not because they're not working, but if they're going up from $10 to $300, that is a big jump. It's taken away from food. It's taken away from clothing. It's taken away from education. So all of the things that we want to see from our kids getting an education, it's being taken away, because now you have to pick that money to find somewhere else to stay, and it's going to affect you one way or another. So I would just like to see Cobb County continue to stay at that forefront, because other metro counties, they're nowhere on the scale of Cobb County with helping out, with assisting your patrons to continue to pay their rent. Thank you so much.
Chairwoman, that concludes the first section of the public comments this evening.
Thank you, Bill. Prior to this meeting and following this meeting will be items that are listed on our consent agenda. Our consent agenda items are items that are voted in bank. Therefore, I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as revised and authorize execution of the necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Because we are in a virtual setting today, we will not be able to use the monitors for voting. So I will actually ask for those who are in approval of the consent agenda, if you may raise your hand. Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Thank you, commissioners. We will now move to our DOT regular tab, which will be brought by our new agency director for DOT, Drew Ressler.
Good evening, Chairwoman,
Good evening.
Commissioners. Drew Ressler, Cobb DOT. And as you mentioned, we have 14 transportation items for your consideration tonight. First item is recommend the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 2 final to the contract with Glosson Enterprises LLC, a savings to the project in the amount of $30,550.40 for Discovery Boulevard Sidewalk, project number X2779.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 1 final to the contract with Omshift Construction LLC, a savings to the project in the amount of $152,897.11 for improvements on Ackworth Due West Road at Jim Owens, Mars Hill Church Roads, and Jim Owens Road, Lewis Elementary School, project numbers X2301, X2801.
Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners authorize procurement of field office computer equipment and supporting hardware software in an amount not to exceed $26,755.24 for road maintenance technology equipment, project number X2545.
All right. Motion to approve as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Chatfield Contracting Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $114,720 for drainage system repairs on Shoshone Valley Road, project number D2833.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Chatfield Contracting Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $117,445 for drainage system repairs on Emery Lane, project number D2843.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Any discussion? All right. Those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 1 to the contract with D&H Construction Company Incorporated, a no-cost time extension through September 10th, 2021 for drainage system repairs on Heritage Trace Drive.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve an encroachment agreement with Georgia Power Company for encroachment upon existing utility easements located on Callaway Road sidewalk, project number X2778.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a utility relocation agreement with Georgia Power Company in an amount not to exceed $60,357 for preliminary engineering and relocation of facilities on West Atlanta Street Trail, project number X2412.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a utility relocation agreement with Georgia Power Company in an amount not to exceed $24,062 for preliminary engineering and relocation of facilities on Sandtown Road, project number X2610.
Commissioner Gambrell.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 1 to the contract with Baldwin Paving Company Incorporated at no cost for roadway improvements on Riverview Road, project number E6040, and approve a contract extension through September 30th, 2021.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 1 to the contract with Glosson Enterprises LLC, a no-cost time extension through October 31st, 2021 for intersection improvements on Old Canton Road and Holly Springs Road, project number X2310.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0. Commissioner, excuse me, go ahead, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, no, that's okay. Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with D&H Construction Company Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $57,524.50 for drainage system repairs on East Piedmont Road, project number D2853.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, all right, the motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a non-exclusive temporary construction easement agreement with the City of Smyrna for Oakdale Road improvements.
All right, Commissioner Richardson.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you.
And our
Drew,
final
bear with
item.
us as we thumb through to the next tab. That's a long
Chairwoman, I think you need to
contract.
announce that one passed 5-0.
Thank you. That passed, yes. The motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Bill. All right. Yes.
All right.
Anybody find their item? We'll wait. It's okay. That'll be page 211. All right, go ahead.
All right. And our final item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 1 to the contract agreement with Ardito Construction Company Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $119,918.45 for emergency drainage repairs on Old Town Parkway, project number X2292. Approve a contract time extension through August 31st, 2021.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have our Public Services regular tab, with the first item being brought by our Parks Director, Michael Brantley.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, Madam County Manager. Our item this evening is for board to authorize the use of capital maintenance contingency funds combined with the FY21 capital funding and 2016 Park SPLOST funding, and to approve a contract with Daikin Applied to replace boilers at our Cobb County Aquatic Centers and improve HVAC units and controls at Mountain View Aquatic Center.
All right, Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All of those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Library System brought by our Library Director, Helen Poyer.
Okay, good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioner, and County Manager. The library has one item this evening. We are asking the Board of Commissioners to authorize the acceptance of the 2022 Capital Outlay Grant from the Board of Regents, Georgia Public Library Services, in the amount of $1.9 million toward the construction of the Gritters Library, the new Gritters Library, as part of the 2016 Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. We are asking that you approve the agreement with the Board of Regents to authorize the corresponding budget transactions and to further authorize the chairwoman to execute the documents.
Thank you. I don't know which commissioner this item is for. Can somebody help? Commissioner Burrow.
One guess.
I make a motion with pleasure and with gratitude to our Cobb delegation for their support of this $1.9 million for Gritters.
Wonderful. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of this agenda item, please raise your hand. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up, we are moving on to our Support Services regular tab. The next item will be brought by Kimberly Lemley, our Director of Information Systems.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, and County Manager. Our item this evening is a joint item with the Sheriff's Office to request the Board of Commissioners approve a project agreement for the installation of the county's enterprise surveillance system for the 100 Cherokee Street building. This project is an eligible project under the 2016 SPLOST Support Services Facilities and Improvements Program X0920. We request the Board of Commissioners approve a project agreement with Controlled Access, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $217,000, authorize $19,680 for the purchase and installation of supporting elevator travel cables, authorize a 10% contingency fund in amount not to exceed $23,668, and authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you, and good to see you this evening, Chief. Yes. With that, I'll make a motion that we approve this agenda item. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are now moving on to our Public Safety regular tab. The first item will be brought by Fire Chief Bill Johnson.
All right. Hey, good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, County Manager. Fire only has one tonight, and we'd like to recommend the Board of Commissioners authorize the advertisement and solicitation of sealed bids from interested contractors for the renovation of our fire training administrative and classroom building, a 2016 SPLOST project X1050-U, and authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you. Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you all.
We are now have our second public comment.
Mr. Chairman, the first speaker is Helen Riley.
Thank you. And just a reminder, again, when you approach the microphone, just to state your full name before speaking.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you. I'm Helen Riley, and I'm here on behalf of Reverend Copley Pendergrass. He wanted to make the first announcement on this wonderful campaign he has And we see that there's a lot of homelessness. And each county in the state of Georgia has been doing a phenomenal job in trying to help people stay stable and in their home, especially here in Cobb County. But Reverend Pendergrass seen that it is a need for a long-term solution. So he wanted to make that first comment here in Cobb County, because he loved you all so much, he said, and that we have a rent control campaign for the state of Georgia. We have some wonderful people on our committee, including Monica Delancey, the senior council, and we just have a lot of the national and local organizations that will be helping us, because that's where we see there's a solution. We can't keep coming up, you all coming up with the money to help people pay, then we got these corporate owners that own these properties here in Cobb County, and we keep letting them come from out of state, and they're owning it, but they live and have businesses in other states that have rent control, but they're coming down here to live off the back of us. And we have to stop it. There has to be some type of regulation. And so Reverend Pendergrass had wanted to announce that he has the rent control campaign. Anybody interested and wanted to join can contact the Georgia Community Coalition, and they're more than welcome to join this wonderful fight that we're gonna have with the state of Georgia to bring this to the, as law. So that's it. He just wanted me to bring that announcement to you all today. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
Jason Patre.
Good evening, I'm Jason Patrick, and I'm here upon evictions. I know there's plenty is going through what I'm going through, and just to give you a foresight of what I'm going through, I've been filed with an eviction. I've been living.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. Can you come closer to the mic? I can't hear you.
Okay, sure. I've been filed with an eviction. I've been living in the same home for 7 years. Never had a problem with paying my rent. Just until I caught COVID, and I was hospitalized with COVID. Spoke with my landlord. He told him what was going on. He said, okay, have it. So I got in contact. I had came to one of these meetings with Ross Cabin, and they was having this STAR program and these others. I got in touch with Miss Linda at Sweetwater. So they reached out to help me. So they reached out to my landlord, and I told him everything what they needed from him. And so after 15 days later, he turns down the money. He said he's pondering and selling it. Pondering, mind you, pondering. So now he goes after. He goes take the eviction out, says failure to pay. At the time, I owed 2 months' rent. As I stated, I've been there 7 years. I literally done bought the house and paying $1,400 a month. I got 4 kids, all in school. I got one that's special needs. She's born with cerebral palsy, autism. She's blind, she's deaf, she can't walk, she can't talk. She's totally dependent. Somebody has to do for her. So now we're on the verge of this eviction. And so Sweetwater, like I said, are working with me, as with him. But he's like in limbo. So he took the eviction, so when I didn't know nothing about the CDC declaration. So I filed that, and they told me through legal counsel to give him that. I gave him that. He said, okay, fine, have Sweetwater to pay the rent. I'll take the rent. So, but they're kind of like saying, hey, they like iffy because the way he been showing his action. I don't want to. I do, I don't. So, you know, they skeptical about dealing with it. And at the same time, I'm at the verge of being homeless. And at the same time, I'm trying to find somewhere to go. And it's just been stressful. It's really stressful. And I had to pay application fees. So which I, on 2 separate occasions, you got to pay for, each adult, which was $50. That was $100. Then I had to pay $200 for a processing fee. And then upon that, they came back and told me, said, oh, we see where you got an eviction filed on you. We can't help you. So that's a scar on me as trying to move forward. I did that on another one. I lost $300. So altogether, I only lost $700 trying to move somewhere. And when this eviction file is still coming up on me, and how do they expect people to, you evicted them, but how you expect people to get somewhere else when they see this eviction that's hindering them from going forward? And I think these evictions should be sealed. They should be sealed. I mean, like I said, I got 4 kids all in school, and like I said, with the special needs, and we'll just be totally homeless. And I've been there, and the thing is, the show, I've been there 7 years, I ain't never had a problem until I caught this COVID and was hospitalized. And I owed 2 months, and he said, and the thing about it, see, I don't know much about this, and I was just going verbally on his word, and I was saying, when you'll go to court? He said, well, I can't tell you. He said, it may be 2022. He said, way things going. I don't know. He said, I'll let you know. So I guess about July 31st when this was lifted or whatever. So on the 3rd, that's when he goes with the writ. And we're going through this. So now I'm still dealing with Miss Linda and them at Sweetwater and everything with him. And lo and behold, just the 18th, he takes another eviction out. I mean, so I don't know how they keep continuing doing this. And I don't want to stay there. I want to have time to find somewhere to get somewhere. And I'm looking very vividly every day, working hard. But this X on my back is when I go through everything. They're saying, okay, the
Mr.
money's
Petrie, I'm
fine.
sorry, your time's up, sir. Lisa Petty?
Hi, my name is Lisa Petty, and that was my husband speaking. I was going to continue where he was leaving off at. We in scrutiny because he taken so many convictions, and we had 4 kids, and we want a solution of where people's going that don't have since they done hiked up rent. Everywhere we look for somewhere to go, it's $1,900 to $2,000, in which our income got to be 3 times that, and we don't have that type of income that's 3 times of what we paying now. So by them hiking up the rental, it's hard for us to really find somewhere to go. I just had surgery. I did contact my landlord in May. I had a pulmonary embolism, and they found a spot on my lung, and I did communicate with him. And he said, well, okay, Lisa, it'll probably be a while before we go to court. So I had to have time to recover. I always work, and I even went back to work before my time because I know I got the 4 kids, and I get this eviction upon us. So I have to try to find a thing. But our thing is, how can we find somewhere, even apartments, you paying $1,700, $1,800, $19, and they want 3 times the rent. So my thing is, what is the solution for us? It's not that, we don't have jobs, it's just we have low-paying jobs right now. People's $18 an hour when you ain't giving 25 hours a week ain't gonna pay for 3 times the rent. So a lot of landlords have went with realtors and they have hiked up everything. So with us, with 3 kids, and a special need in a wheelchair that don't walk or talk, my solution is where we're gonna go and what we're gonna do. And that's why I'm here today, to see what kind of solution, that you guys have. We voted everybody in, for us to help us to better ourselves for the low income. And it's like no one is helping us. Like he said, the landlord won't take the money. He want a realtor to buy the house. We've been there for 7 years. And we even offered to buy the house from him, and I guess a realtor went and outbidded us. So now we in condition. I have a job and my credit, but I've been out of the hospital. I've been lung surgery. So it's it's a no-win-lose, situation with me. I got to get myself back up to get my job history back up because I had lung surgery and we had those 4 kids and my husband been out with COVID ever since February. So that's my story today is, to help people who been evicted, who been put out, who have kids, who don't have nowhere to go. If we go to a motel, how long are we gonna stay there? It's just a no-win-lose thing. And that's my story. Thank you.
Quatina Scott.
Hello, everyone. How's your day going? Today I'll be talking about how kids are impacted on evictions. Kids can be impacted by evictions by learning, comfort, sports, and friends. Kids all are impacted. Kids can be really, kids are, they shouldn't be in the deal of being evicted at this young age, and kids, they should they shouldn't be involved in these things. And sometimes when having evictions with kids, they have to move, and sometimes they have to keep moving because some parents don't have the money to move and keep moving. So kids are not sometimes comfortable, and some people play sports, but they have to keep moving, and that takes the time of them playing. And sometimes when kids move away from their school, they have to start a whole new learning system, and sometimes they're not comfortable with some things. And when you move for when you stay at a house for a minute, and then you get evicted, and then your learning is all messed up because you're comfortable with your teachers and students, the people around you, your friends, and that's how the kids shouldn't be impacted by eviction.
Monica Delancey.
Good evening, Monica Delancey, Riverside Community. First, I want to commend, I believe, Engine number 22, the fire department in Austell. They had a busy past couple of days. Last week, they rescued about 20 kids out of the all-child daycare center. And then this morning, last night, they had to put out a major fire at Patek Meat Department. So we just want to make sure that we thank our everyday heroes for doing what they do best, and that's saving us. August 15th, We Thrive in Riverside Renter Association graduated 8 thriving family participants that participated in a 6-month-long program where they learned about civic engagement, academic success, routes to home ownership, and entrepreneurship. We met twice a month, one in person, one online, and they took part in different activities throughout the community. One of the projects they had to do was the parade, which they loved doing, and another project they participated in was community cleanups, and they loved the civic engagement. They learned so much from it. All of the thrivers received rental assistance to help them with their rent, as well as they was incentivized from reaching monthly goals. We will do a reboot camp in October. What we will do just a 2-day program, because what I've learned was 6 months was kind of like a stretch. So I said we'll do a 2-day program in October, and then next year hopefully we can do a 6-month program again. But that was a pilot program that I wrote down that I wanted to do last October. I wrote it down because you have to write down your goals. I wrote that down, and through the help of people that believed in the vision, I was able to make that happen. So I just want to make sure to note that. Also, I want to talk a little bit about what the young lady just said right before me about kids being impacted by being evicted. It makes me think about when people think about public housing, people think just about, different housing developments. But I believe everybody in this room has been touched by public housing. If you had parents that were in the military, you lived in public housing. If you was in the military, public housing. If you attended a state college, a state university, public housing. Because when you fill out your financial aid forms, they ask you, how do you want to pay for room and board, right? So it's either you receive a grant or you receive a loan to help pay for your room and board. Some people move off campus. So whether or not you acquired your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, your law degree, your whatever, if you attended a state college, state university, you took out loans, you used that to pay for your housing to be stabilized while you went to school. So just think about that opportunity for a child from age kindergarten to 12th grade, being able to be stabilized without having to move, right? Because the government knew that in order for you to thrive in college, in order for you to be successful, they had to create opportunities, which was either using a grant to pay for housing or using a loan to pay for your housing, because they knew that you could not be successful in school by going to work a minimum wage job and get all A's, right? So we need to think about that concept and support that, because public housing stabilizes communities, it stabilizes families, so a child does not have to worry about being evicted while they're home on Christmas break. And I just wanted to say that because, my daughter had to go through that, and I'm so glad that she was able to still continue going to college. We just took her back for her senior year in college. Can't believe it's flying by so fast. But she was, through prayers and people and support, that we have to surround our children, because they are our next generation. Our children are our future. Thank you very much.
Kathy Swinford. Kathy Swinford. Who is this? I'm sorry. Okay, it's for, so that's you? Okay, that's your turn. No, the other one isn't there. You go. I misread the numbering and the sequence. My apologies.
Greetings all. My name is Quantina Scott as well. My daughter, I have 4 daughters who are all named Quantina. So it's a total of 5 of us. So it's Quantina, Quantina, Quantina. I love my name. I'm trying to leave a legacy behind with some daughters. Greetings all. Condolences to you, Chairwoman. Sorry to hear about the loss in your family. I am seeking from you, Chairwoman Lisa Cupid, I thank you for putting in the recent executive order for with regards to the COVID. that's going on in our county. I would like to see you possibly exercise another executive order. This executive order, I would like to be put in place anywhere from 30 days to about until the beginning of the year. And the executive order I am requesting from you to hopefully be able to exercise is to help keep people who are receiving Section 8 right now. There is no housing for people who are being displaced who are on Section 8. For low-income tax credit properties, people who are on a, they can't afford the market rate right now. Some type of executive order needs to be put in place. People can't find homes if they're being evicted. People who are being impacted due to being displaced cannot find housing in 30 days up underneath the amount that they're paying. They're being forced out of their homes, and they can't even manage to pay the price it takes to pay for a motel. Motel is $650 a week. A week and a half, that'll pay for a one-bedroom apartment, you know, for somebody that's on low-income housing. So I would like to see some type of executive order put in place to help protect these families, because if you don't, you're going to see it in people's backyards. You're going to start seeing tents, because the motels will start getting overflowed. If people don't want it in their backyards, you need to put it into place at least 30 days or until MHA, Marietta Housing, can come up with some type of way to help mitigate through this, come up with some type of protocol, talk to some properties to see if they can be able to keep Section 8, because they're trying to phase it out throughout the whole county. Section 8 is being phased out. My apartment complex is under investigation. I would like to thank the Congress of the United States House Representative, my local representative, Barry Latham-Milk. I would like to thank him for helping me launch an investigation against my apartment complex due to the fact that they were trying to allege that they were not a low-income tax credit property. HUD is now launching an investigation. It is pending. And furthermore, that's why I would like to see this executive order put into place. Before I came today, I was met with a lady, 72 years old, COVID survivor. She couldn't hardly breathe. She's being asked to leave because they want to do renovations. She has no place to go. She's on Section 8. She can't find any housing through senior citizens housing because she has a caretaker. So she can't find a 2-bedroom right now. She's stressed. My heart went out to her. She gave me the extra fire to come today to speak to you. I couldn't wait till you do resident concerns, you know, on Thursday. I seen her, and it was an immediate urgency for me to come today. She needs help. I need some type of executive order put into place to help her. Furthermore, property owners need to be looked into. Some of these low-income tax properties, they need to be looked into and investigated. I believe there were a lot of them who new ownership took place as of May 28, 2021. I think it's some propaganda going on to disenfranchise minority people. And we need to speak to the elephant in the room, that this is impacting Black and brown people. I don't see Caucasian people coming up here seeking rental assistance or help. The elephant in the room needs to be addressed. If Black people are being displaced when it comes to the primary elections, nobody can vote because they don't have an address. They'll be in motels. The elephant in the room needs to be addressed. Thank you for your time.
Chairwoman, that concludes our speakers this evening.
Thank you, Bill. And just for those who may be here who are new to public comment, we don't typically respond to statements or answer questions during public comment to give the public the opportunity to speak uninterrupted without judgment. So for those who may be new and wonder why you're not getting responses, it's for that purpose. Okay, we have 2 appointments tonight to announce. And First one is to announce the reappointment of Bryant McDaniel to the Cobb Workforce Development Board. And we have another announcement by Commissioner Sheffield.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To announce the appointment of Cynthia Edwards to the Neighborhood Safety Commission.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Our final tab for this evening is the Commissioner's public comment, and we will start tonight with Commissioner Gambrill.
Thank you. Our Citizens Public Safety Academy registration deadline is on Wednesday, September 1st at 3 p.m. Classes will begin Wednesday, September 8th at 6 p.m. Each applicant must fill out an application and undergo a background check. For a copy of an application, you can email Sergeant Victor Varola at victor.varola@cobbcounty.org. Completed applications will need to be taken to the Cobb County Internal Affairs Department at 545 South Fairground Street in Marietta. If you have any questions about the Cobb County Citizens Public Safety Academy, you can call 770-499-4100. Our North Cobb Senior Center will hold a free fire extinguisher safety class tomorrow from 10 to 12. Advanced registration is required. The Cobb County Emergency Management Specialist will offer hands-on training along with teaching the types of fires and what fuels each fire. You can register online at myactivecenter.com or call 770-975-7740 for more information. And this event is for those who are more educated and aware than ours and 55 and older. Thank you. Prison Break runs from September 10th through October 30th at Oregon Park Annex. Gamers will be allotted 60 minutes to cooperatively solve puzzles and perform specific tasks in order to escape the room as a team. Your sessions allow for you and up to 5 additional gamers a chance to play, so register today. For details or for questions, you can call 678-978-2557. And remember, 1 team, 1 hour, 1 chance to break free. And lastly, you can mark your calendars for my town hall. We're going to feature our Cobb E911 Emergency Communication Department on September 30th at the West Cobb Senior Center from 6 to 8 p.m. You will get insights as to how they answer 911 calls, the most common emergencies, and how you can receive wireless emergency help through your cell phone. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Richardson.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. All right, so from the office. Last week, partnered with Commissioner Sheffield's office in doing some rental assistance canvassing. So as you know, we have a lot of rental assistance programs, but we're aware that not all residents are aware of these programs. And so we decided to hit the streets and go door to door and knock on people's doors and say, hey, there are these resources available for you. Let us know how we can be helpful. And we left, of course, our contact information, and we also have a way to contact those that were spoken to. So we were able to, in District 2, cover 8 apartment complexes with our wonderful volunteers. And I can share, even for one of our canvassers, they spoke to 20 people on their walk, and 12 of them had not known anything about the resources available and needed the help. So just wanted to say I really appreciate those that did volunteer with us. Also, if you want to have a copy of the flyers that we distributed, you can find those on our constituent website, d2cobb.com. In this picture, it's myself and our new planning commissioner who hit the streets with me, David Anderson, and we had these wonderful tote bags that said, all in this together. All right. And just one more thing I wanted to say about rental assistance. Just to stress, the Bridge to Success pilot program is active. If you are employable, we have a pilot program where we will find you a job, and the employer that hires you will put towards an additional amount on top of the salary for a short period of time to assist with keeping you in your house, your place of residence, whatever that may be. So if you're interested in that program, or if your company is interested in participating, please reach out to our office. All right, next initiative is the Master Plan Ambassadors. As you saw on that list, we have kicked it off. There are a lot of names for each of the different areas, and Tony Wainwright will be leading that effort. So we're just very excited to kick that off. And we can skip to the stories in ASL. All right, so join Cobb Libraries on the first Saturday each month at 10 a.m. for stories in ASL on their Facebook and YouTube pages. Learn some signs in American Sign Language, and then read a book that incorporates the signs you've learned. We share new stories monthly, and past stories are archived in the playlist. Search Cobb County Public Library on Facebook and YouTube. And then lastly, the Emotional Support Line. Georgia COVID-19 Emotional Support Line provides free and confidential assistance to callers needing emotional support or resource information as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Emotional Support Line is staffed by volunteers, including mental health professionals and others who have received training in crisis counseling. Hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., and you can call or text 866-399-8938. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate you sharing that information about the hotline. Commissioner Burrow?
Thank you. Last Thursday, the 19th, I had the honor of joining the Cobb County Community Affairs Unit of the Cobb County Police Department for a coffee with your cop at Sweet Hut Bakery and Cafe located at 2795 Chastain Meadows Parkway in Kennesaw. Thank you to the members of the Organization of Chinese Americans who organized the event, and to the entire Cobb County Police Department for their dedicated service to the citizens of Cobb. It was great to see some familiar faces here. If y'all remember Jerry Kwan, who was our Precinct 4 commander, his wife Lydia is part of this group. And it was great to see her again. And also Judge Nira Ball was attended as well. So it's good to see folks and coffee with your cop coming back after COVID. Honorary commanders and United Military Care are hosting a female veterans initiative for the month of August 17th through September 17th. And we've come together to sponsor a supplies drive for homeless female veterans. Items donated will be provided to female veterans who are currently homeless and severely financially challenged. You can drop your donations into one of the donation boxes. There's one out on the table in the lobby here. And there are also locations that our tax commissioner has offered at her tag offices that are listed on the flyer. There's also some flyers on the table. And you can also scan the QR code on here and order online the items that are needed that are listed here, and they will be shipped directly to United Military Care on Old Canton Road. So we hope you'll be generous and donate to this worthy cause. Each life lost to the senseless tragic events of September 11, 2001 will be honored by the 5th Field of Flags installation from September 4th through the 18th at Kennesaw Mountain. You're invited to participate in what has become one of the largest commemorative events in the nation as we remember and honor those who lost their lives that fateful day. As you know, Marietta Kiwanis has sponsored this for the last 5 years, I think, and they're asking for volunteers to carry flags, to sponsor flags, and for more information, you can attend or you can help by volunteering or donating, and if you visit 911fieldoflags.com, or there's also a QR code on this flyer as well. The Cobb County Veterans Memorial is a project planned as a park to honor veterans, teach history, and inspire future generations to live meaningful and purposeful lives of service. You can take a virtual flyover of the park at cobbveteransmemorial.com/flyover and watch the vision at cobbveteransmemorial.com, Build a Legacy. You can go to their page at Facebook, Cobb Vet Memorial, and like the project, or you can visit their website, make a donation to help us raise funds to start construction of the memorial. And also, you could host a fundraising event, make a corporate foundation donation, or help in other ways. You can send an email to contact@cobbvmf.com. And then this is a save the date. Details will follow, but on November 6th this year at Jim Miller Park Event Center, Cobb County Government, U.S. Veterans Affairs, and the Georgia Department of Veterans Services are coming together to honor women veterans on November 6th from 1 to 3 at Jim Miller Park. 4 women veterans who served in different wars, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and post 9/11, will be sharing their incredible military experiences. We hope you will mark your calendar and plan to attend this very special event. And we'll have more information in the future as we get closer. And then last but not least, a lot of these events and information about the county will be in our newsletters. And you can skip this slide because I think our chairwoman is going to address this. Go to the next slide. It says sign up for our newsletter. Thank you.
Don't skip it. It's good information. So, thank you, Commissioner Burrow. Next up, Commissioner Sheffield.
Looks like I'm getting skipped tonight. Thank you, Madam Chair. Next slide, please. WorkSource Cobb is now accepting applications for their Power Up apprenticeship program through September 9th. There is no cost to Cobb residents, experience is not required, and there is an opportunity to earn a weekly stipend for those who are eligible for the program. WorkSource Cobb offers other fast-track programs similar to the Power Up program. For additional information on the Power Up and job opportunities, contact information@cobbworks.org or call 770-528-4300 and use the code FASTTRACK. The Cobb Police Athletic League is a charitable nonprofit organization whose mission is to make a positive difference in the life of young people ages 4 through 18. Cobb PAL focuses on juvenile crime prevention through mentorships and recreational activities for youth in Cobb County. The PAL program helps expand public awareness about the role of police officers and instills basic principles of good decision-making, critical thinking, and respect for others. The Cobb PAL organization is a great example of providing a positive environment for youth to interact with police. And you can see as we close out the summer, there's a summer camp on next Tuesday, and next Wednesday. And there's still an opportunity to register for the soccer camp. Keelan and Erica Mitchell will bring the first Mooyah Burgers restaurant not just to Mableton, but to Georgia. Mooyah Burgers, Fries, and Shakes will be coming to Mableton in the fall of this year. The Texas-based company serves 100% certified Angus beef brand burgers and lifestyle burgers to include vegan, keto, gluten-free options. General manager, assistant manager, and shift lead positions are available. You can text 263-1026 to 31063 to apply. I'll repeat that since they're numbers. You can text 263-1026 to 31063 to apply for those positions. The Youth Commission. High school students in rising grades 9 through 11 are encouraged to apply for the inaugural Cobb County Youth Commission. This will be an excellent opportunity to learn about local government, engage in civic affairs, and become leaders of change in their community. It is also great experience to add to resumes or college applications. The program will include a weekend of leadership development, 3 quarterly meetings that may include leadership development activities and community projects. Many opportunities for participants to volunteer and gain leadership experience in Cobb County meetings, events, or activities, and of course, a graduation ceremony. The participants in this pilot program will provide input into the design of future youth commission programs. In District 4, we are too short of 2 participants for this program, so I encourage you to apply. In the Zone. Join us for our monthly In the Zone meeting. Please note that the meeting is scheduled for this coming Thursday, not Wednesday. This coming Thursday, August 26th at 7 p.m. Our monthly zoning meetings are a great way to learn firsthand about zoning applications and potential development in your community. That meeting will be hosted by myself and our Planning Commissioner, Michael Hughes. Please email deidre.watts@cobbcounty.org for the meeting link. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Right, again, our goals for the year is to first address COVID and address recovery from COVID. Second, to address transportation, housing, social justice, policing, and equity, and last, elections. You can go back to the prior slide. This number has jumped significantly since the last time we've met. It was in the 600s. Now we're at a transmission rate of COVID-19 of 771 cases out of 100,000 residents. That's over 7 times more than the high rate of transmission of 100 out of 100,000 residents. So we just encourage you to do what you can to help reduce the spread, which does include wearing masks. We'd ideally like to get as many residents as possible vaccinated. We're at about 50% in the county. We could be higher, but it's up to each one of us to do our part so that we can get past this very awkward and difficult time for many of us here in our county and country. You can move to the next slide, please. So again, we put forward an emergency order in the county to underscore the significance of the impact that COVID-19 is having upon us, which is why we have a different protocol tonight, for us to distance our chairs and for us to wear masks so we can do our part to help reduce the spread. We'll move to the next slide. Just some highlights for DOT. Want to thank them for all of the work that they are doing in helping the county strengthen our transportation planning. They recently met with the DOT team at Douglas County, and I know they spoke with myself and Commissioner Sheffield, who neighbors Douglas County as well. And there may be some opportunities for us to look at partnership in our projects moving forward. And want to thank DOT also for meeting with other adjacent transportation professionals to Cobb County. You can go to the next slide. Another kudos to DOT is that they are doing some necessary maintenance for our express bus system, including overhauling major components of our county's 18 express bus. You can go to the next slide. With housing, we are continuing to surpass milestones of distribution of our emergency rental assistance funds. Cobb County has distributed about 60% of our rental assistance funds, and we want residents to know that help is still available. I want to commend Commissioners Richardson and Commissioner Sheffield for going out and meeting with residents door to door to let them know about the programs that we have here in Cobb, as we truly want to be able to help as many as possible retain a roof over their head. We have a Racial Equity 21-Day Challenge in partnership with United Way of Greater Atlanta. This is a self-paced program. If you just want to learn more about this conversation about equity, you can do so by logging in with the QR code that's here. And the program will start September 20th. Go to the next slide. And I want to thank Commissioner Burrell not only for, in her presentation, she had some details around absentee ballot voting. I believe she also printed out some of the applications and had them available outside of this room. So I want to encourage people to pick one of those applications up. It is not the same application that was used in years prior. And so I appreciate everyone doing their part to let people know about the changes that have taken place. And in fact, with help of our communications department, they've partnered with our elections director to record a PSA, or public service announcement, regarding absentee ballot voting and the changes that are coming up for this November. And Ross, if you can indulge me in playing the video, thank you.
During the 2020 election, voting by absentee ballot made up about a third of all ballots cast. It was a very popular option during a pandemic, but now the rules have changed significantly. We talked with our elections director, Janine Eveler, about what has changed.
Well, there are a lot of changes. The new law that's gone into place this last session has changed a lot about absentee balloting, starting with how you apply and the time frame in which we apply for the absentee ballot. We used to have up until 180 days that we could apply for an absentee ballot, but now the time frame is much shorter. So we cannot accept an application for an absentee ballot unless it's the 78th day prior to the election. And we cannot accept an absentee application after the 11th day prior to the election. So basically from 78 days to 11 days before the election, that's when we can accept your application for an absentee ballot. For the upcoming November 2nd, 2021 general and special election for the cities and for the education SPLOST, that works out to August 16th through October 22nd. So we have the application on our website, and you can fill it all in. It's got a fillable field, so you can type up all of your information, but you do have to print it out and sign it. And then you can send it into our office. There are instructions on the website that tell you where you can send it. You can mail it, you can fax it, you can scan it and send it in an email. The new application is much more complicated looking, but it's really not that complicated. The fields that you have to fill out are they say required on it, and then there's a lot of other information for special circumstances. But if it's just you're applying as a regular voter, you don't have anybody applying for you, you don't have to fill out any of the rest of it. So we'll go through a little bit about how to apply for it, how to fill out the application, and so you'll see all of the different fields. You do have to include your driver's license number or a state ID number that you had from DDS if you don't have a driver's license. And if you don't have any of those items, then you can make a copy of one of the other allowed IDs and attach that to the application. So on the application for the absentee ballot, we will already have the date on there, and you'll just type in your first, middle, and last name. And then if it is a primary, which we aren't having a primary until next year, you would select the type of ballot that you want, Democratic, Republican, or nonpartisan. Then you would fill in under number 4 your address, and this is where you're registered. So fill in that registration address. If you want the ballot to be mailed to another address, it does have to be an out of this county address. So it's a temporary out of county address. You can fill that in as well. You would put in your contact information, your phone number and or email in case we need to get a hold of you. And then this is the new part that's very important. Under the item number 7, you will have to fill in your date of birth and your Georgia driver's license or state identification card number. Now, if you don't have either of those numbers, then you would check the box that says, I do not have a driver's license or ID card, and you would include a copy of one of the other IDs that's available for voting, such as a military ID, a voter ID card, a tribal ID, or some other item that's allowed. And those are on our website if you need to check that. And then very important, once you fill it all in from the fillable PDF that you can see online, you have to print it and you have to sign it with a regular pen and ink signature. And then you would take either a photo of that and email it to us, or print it out and then send it in through the mail.
Thank you. I thought that
So
video
when
was...
you make
Yes, just I want to fast forward through that, or we're going to spend another night here, but we do have a copy of this video that's on our website with the county where you can learn more about that. What we wanted to underscore is that there are changes in the absentee ballot that it's important that our voters are aware of. There are many people who've been used to voting absentee and they've been submitting the prior form or submitting it more than the days that are allotted for getting a form. And we just want you to know that that process has changed. Just moving on quickly, as was shared, we have our Youth Commission deadline, which is extended to this Friday. Please apply or encourage a young person to apply today. All right, thank you so much. Contact information is listed below. Thank you all for tuning into this meeting if you did virtually or attending in person. Commissioners, thank you for your work this evening and hope all of you have a great evening.